cold weather may have you staying indoors this time of year, so why not take advantage of it and do a project? We're helping you out with some DIY advice this month.
Hannah's working on laying some flooring this morning. Hannah, you just did the laminate. Now you are on to what?
I'm on to wood, guys, and I've got a new hammer. I think I'd call this maybe more like a mallet.
Yeah, wood
It's a little larger, but don't worry, I won't hurt you with it. We're laying real wood because there are some people who say, okay, I don't want the laminate, I want the real stuff. There's a difference, though. This one isn't going to click together. No. Like just a tap and it's done. You have to actually nail this down, staple it in. Right. Explain what we're going to do here.
Yeah, so basically what we did, we just for time's sake, we started with the starter row. The starter row basically is a row that we have installed, measured from a chalk line, right? That we measured off the outside wall. The outside wall is the truest wall of your house, okay? We started this row basically measuring off that chalk line, making sure that our row of wood is straight, even if the wall may have a little variation in it. Okay. So once we get that started, we have to use a different gun for that we surface nail the first row. In this case, we surface nail. Sometimes, guys...
And it was this.
That gun right there, exactly.
I'll explain. We put, basically, you just put it down.
Yep. And pull the trigger and...
Oops. Yeah, pull the trigger. It's not plugged in. Right. We pulled the trigger, and you can see the nails on the first row, but only in the first row.
Exactly.
Because it's, you know, it's your surface.
It's called surface nail. You have to start it somehow, right? So we use glue sticks, but for most people, it's easier to get a nail gun. Right. Shoot through the surface.
Then we laid this paper down. Yep. Because it's for absorption.
For vapor barrier. So you always want to have a vapor barrier underneath your wood flooring. So in this case, this is a paper designed for wood flooring. And I would always look for that. If you can't find something like this, you can use like 15-pound roofing paper. Okay. That would work fine too. Don't use like red rosin. That's not going to do it for you. Okay. So look for an asphalt paper like roofing or a specialized flooring paper. And so then the second row, we basically put the row in and we blind nailed. And blind nail means nothing more than just shooting through the tongue to where...
the edge. So that you don't see the nail on the surface of
You're
your
not
wood.
shooting through the surface, you shooting through the tongue, and that's going to be a blind nail for the first two rows. The reason why is this gun can't get too close to the wall, right? I can only get maybe, depending on if my handle's on too.
Right, you don't want it to get in the way.
And I like to always, use the pin nailer for my first two rows just to keep my row straight.
You want to grab another piece?
Yep. So that piece is already stapled in. One thing you want to look for when you're installing is your end seams. Slide it right in there. And then just tap that together.
With this?
Yep. And just get it in there. Yep, there you go. That's fine. And then go to the end. Yep. And then tap the end back in so you can get that gap. Yeah, there you go.
And you tap it in, but I said, okay, so if we didn't staple this down, what would happen? Can you just tap your wood floor? And he goes, no, you can't do that because your furniture would make the wood slide. It'd be a mess. You need to staple it down. Right. So you grab this thing.
Yep, exactly. So stand up. You're going to want to stand up for this. Okay. Make sure that the foot of the gun, which is this part here, I have a little piece of felt just for softness. Yeah. Put this right on top of the surface of the flooring. Okay. All right? You want to shoot your nails, your staples. In this case, this gun shoots staples. Right. You want to shoot it about 2 inches from each end. Okay. Right? So go ahead and just hit that.
I'm gonna hit it.
Yep. That's it.
Whoa.
And you can see where the staple goes in there.
That's powerful.
Right?
Yeah.
And then when you're in the center, you want about 10 to 12 inches off the edge. Go ahead. 10 to 12 inches off the edge. And you can see we're tight here. A little bit of gap there.
Little gap.
If you swing it hard enough, it'll close right up. There you go.
Here we go. Right. Check that out. And the reason you use staples again instead of nails, why?
Well, no, the flooring guns, so the guns that we use to install, they're either going to use cleats or staples. Okay. Right? So that's just how these guns are made. This gun happens to use staples. A lot of guys will use guns that have cleats. You can rent guns that have cleats, staples. It doesn't matter. The reason why we use this gun is just because it gives us a straight shot in. We can get it close to the wall to shoot through the surface as we start our installation.
And this is the same with the laminate in terms of cutting. You're going to measure, you're going to put your wood, mark your line, cut it the same way you would, and then continue on.
I would say that the easiest way to cut it is with a chop saw as opposed to the table saw, but it really is the same kind of thing. You mark it based on your end goes to the wall, give yourself a little mark that's short just so you have that expansion gap, because even with wood, you want an expansion gap. The wood itself will expand and contract. Cover that with molding when it's all said and done. Yeah. And you're good to go.
Fantastic. So. It looks amazing. Now, something else I have to show you guys. My mom, my parents actually put a new floor in their indoor screened-in patio. They made one of those penny floors, okay? My mom laid, here's a picture of it. She laid $348 worth of pennies You can do the math there. On a 12 by 12 patio, took her about 6 months to do, but the pictures are amazing. She then had someone lay a shine on the outside of it. If you go online to foxrochester.com later this morning, they wrote something up to tell you kind of the story behind how they laid the penny floor. But I'll tell you what, it's really, really pretty. I laid some pennies too, I've got to admit. And no, they weren't all heads up. That'd be way too much.
That's beautiful. It really does look awesome.
That would be good.
Isn't it cool?
For all those people who are used to picking up pennies when they see them for good luck, I think that would just drive them nuts.
I know, they're like, oh, I can't get that penny.